right, welcome back. We are here with Dina Privetti. I'm so excited today for this conversation. Dina is a clinical therapist and biblical counselor. Dina, would you share a little bit of kind of who you are in your journey, how you've come to work in mental health and do what you do?
Thanks for having me. Yes, so I'm originally from Jersey. I now live outside of Philadelphia, but I'm a Jersey girl. You can take the girl out of Jersey, but you can't take Jersey out of the girl. So that means I'm feisty and fast paced and say what I think. And my history is Italian, my background. So the fact that I became a counselor, that combination doesn't always work for counseling because you need to be compassionate and kind and listening. And so I've worked hard on being that, but I feel like I'm on earth to be a counselor because I love to listen to people. And so that started when I was like 12. Everyone would tell me all their problems. And my family would say, "Why do you hear everybody's problems all the time?" And I would say, "I don't know. They just tell me everything." So that happened my whole life, and I actually wanted to be a photographer when I grew up, and ended up a counselor. So I was listening to everybody, and people just said, "Why don't you just get paid for that? Why don't you go to school and get degrees and training?" And so the truth is, I was going to listen to people anyway, whether it was my waitress or the gas attendant who pumps our gas in Jersey, or family or friends. So it just made sense. And graduated from grad school. I have a friend who's a doctor, and he approached me and he said, "Dina, I would love you to have your practice, open up your practice in my office in Jersey." He said, "I'm sending people to psychiatrists all the time and they're getting medicated, but they're not getting help." And it was a big practice, a family practice in South Jersey. And so basically handed me a practice and said, "You can have my patients as your clients. I'll give you an assistant and I'll set up your schedule with a free office," which is unheard of. And of
Wow.
course, I don't know. I think I might want to travel the world and waitress. But I was young. And what do you need to be a counselor? Two things: wisdom and experience. And I had neither. So I was like, "Oh, how am I going to do this? Are you crazy to say yes to this?" But people, of course, my counsel, to me, the wisdom and advisory board, so to speak, said, "Dina, you're crazy not to take this." So that's how I started. And I actually got to work holistically from the beginning with doctors who were helping people medically. And then I could do the mental health side, and I could correspond with their doctors. They signed off on that from the beginning, because their
Right.
doctors were down the hall. There
HIPAA
were
and all that.
doctors.
Mhm.
Sorry.
The HIPAA,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
So it was covered, and they wanted that. And so I could say to a doctor, I was fresh out of grad school. I didn't understand what meds were what, and I couldn't pronounce half of them anyway. And so I would say to the doc, "What is this? What is this for? What do you think?" And we could collaborate, which was fabulous. And so that's how I got started. Eventually, went out completely on my own, but that was my own practice within his doctor's office. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was 25, established a business.
That's incredible though. And talk about an open door from God. I mean, seriously.
Wide open, like shoved me through, which
This
is
is it. Whether you like it or not, this is
yes,
it.
yes, yes, sink or swim,
And
baby. So
that's
try it out.
hilarious. Wow. And it's funny that reminds me of some of my story is similar because when I was really I like young, like middle school and stuff, I remember people just asking me like they needed stress relief or whatever, and they asked me to like do their shoulders and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, whatever. But they didn't ask anybody else, and they'd be literally they would say like, "Hey, I'll buy you lunch," or "Here, I'll trade you my like candy bars," so that I was like, but at the time it didn't really click. And so I went and I got all this education and medical degree and all this stuff to do like healthcare, which was great. But then God was like, "Hey, I want you to help people in this way, the more holistic, massage therapy and healing in that way." And it just was a whole, and then I'm like, "Oh, now everything makes sense." But
Uh,
funny you mentioned, because when I was in college and first getting out of college, I actually did photography. That's funny that you said you wanted
wow.
to.
No,
That
we
was
have never discussed. Well, now everyone's a photographer, right? With the iPhone, it's like,
right, right.
but
Yeah, that's what happened is I got to a point with that. That was the first business I ever tried. Talk about learning experience, right? When you start a business, a lot of trial by fire, but eventually the phones got to be so much better than the camera I had, and so it was like I couldn't continue the business if I couldn't get thousands and thousands of dollars into a new camera. It was like at that point I was like, yeah, okay, I think this is my sign that this is not it.
Well, thank God you
But
shifted because of how many people you helped, that's for sure.
it's crazy. And talk about, yeah, God helping people find healing. So part of that is the mental health. And that's why I wanted to have this interview with you. Would you share a little bit of your journey as well? Because obviously, God has led us both to help people with that holistic healing, and it's mental, it's physical, and it's emotional, right? It is interconnected, as you've said. So I'd love to hear, also we're professionals, but we have our own journeys of mental health as well. And I'm sure you can share, like I know with myself, I struggled with anxiety and seasons of depression as well, and different things like that. And I don't think we're alone in that. So would you speak to the person that maybe they're a professional or there's someone that it can be hard to talk about that or share about that or connect about that because as professionals, we don't want to what is that term? There's probably like a term for it. Break that like professional rule. There's like an unspoken rule almost of like that you don't talk about certain things or you're not can't be too personal or whatever, right? In some ways. But would you share, your story and your journey?
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because we're human, right? It's like we do what we can to help people, of course, and we wake up every day thinking, how can we help people? But we're not robots. And so I had my own mental health struggles since I was a teenager, and I didn't even realize that I had those struggles. I mean, I didn't know a label or a name, and so my family went through a lot when I was growing up, and it was a stressful household. And I'm the oldest of five girls, and so it was just tough, lots of tough things. But I knew I struggled in the winter always, so I came to find out that that was called something seasonal affective disorder, which is perfect term SAD, right? Because I was sad. It's like you look outside the window and my mood is always the weather. If it's a sunny day, I'm up and doing well, I'm motivated. And if it's a cloudy, gray day, no matter what season, I'm struggling just because I can feel the gray. So that was significant. I always wanted to go down south in the winter, but what I also didn't realize was I had this like nagging negative voice that would not shut up. And I came to find out that it was depression. And I hadn't shared that publicly, like on the internet, World Wide Web, until 3 or 4 months ago, ever. I would always share it one on one, but into crowds that weren't recorded when I was speaking. But I just started to realize after over 20 years of struggling and finding some things that are greatly curing it and helping through, how you and I met. I just started to share because I want to help people. I want to help people even more. So the recent experience I've had was the products that you and I take have helped in many ways completely reduce my symptoms. And I was medicated for a while. I called my psychiatrist friend and said, I need help. I had worked for him and I said, so I struggle with depression. Actually, I texted him. I said, I struggle with depression. I need some meds, preferably not ones that I gain weight. And I just sent the text. And then I went back to work to counsel. And I didn't think twice about it, like, oh, he'll probably just text me back with a name. And no, of course not. A good friend, psychiatrist, practitioner, right, would zoom in and say, I'm going to care about you. What's going on? And he never knew because, I don't look like I'm depressed. It's not obvious.
Mhm.
But I'd have times where I'm on the bathroom floor trying to think through how do I make it through the night? Like, who would miss me when I'm gone? Literally making a list because my brain was telling me, you don't need to be here.
Mm.
And very few people knew that, not because I'm trying to hide it, but because I wanted to get rid of it. Like it's not enjoyable. Depression's like the unwanted guest that doesn't ever go away. And so on
Mhm.
my good days, I don't want to talk about it. Like, no, I'm doing well. So my psychiatrist friend was
Yeah.
sweet, let's talk tomorrow. And so he
Yeah.
gave me a script. And then ultimately I was on that until I started the products that we take. And
Wow.
lo and behold, it lifted. I was like, wait a second, why am I okay in January? I was waiting for the struggle. I was waiting to book a
Wow.
flight to Florida because I'm outside of Philly and we have winter here. And I thought I got to go to Florida, every winter. And this past winter, first winter on these products, I didn't feel that way. And
Wow.
I mean, I still have the meds here And I used to carry them around in my purse in case I needed them. I just thought, just in case, nope, nothing. So I still have down days. I get discouraged. I'm human, but it's not clinical depression, which it feels miraculous to me.
Oh, that's
And in our
incredible.
company, we can't cure, diagnose, or treat, but you and I as practitioners can. So I can
Yeah.
say that it's like, it's not there the way it was. So
Wow. Yeah.
it's helped me understand people, to be in the pit with them differently, to empathize with my clients in a way that I wouldn't have
Yeah.
otherwise. So in that sense, I'm grateful to be able to really walk alongside people and say, actually, I personally get it. Even if they never know that, it helps me respond and relate to them in a way that I think is a lot more personal than it would be.
Yeah, you have that understanding and that compassion in a different way. And I think that we have that in similar as well, because as I work with my clients, I know the health struggle. I know the mental health piece of it. I have the experience, and having that ability to relate and have a different type of compassion makes such a big difference. So let's speak to the kind of biofrequency element of it. And this is something that some of you may have heard of, some of you might not have, but this concept of understanding how our nervous system operates in a different way than I think a lot of people have understood for a long time. We now have new information of the physics of the body, of how our nervous system actually is responding, not just to what's actually happening, not just with the thoughts, the emotions, the neurochemicals, and the chemicals going in them. Those are all important things, but also literally what's happening in the molecules of our body are interacting with the sound vibration, the different light vibrations in our environment. So, speaking of like lack of sunlight, right, and things like that, of course, and the stress is actually impacting our nervous system as well in it on this molecular level where our electrons in our cells are being affected, and thereby it's impacting our brain's ability to have better serotonin balance and all of those things. So there's this interconnection. Would you share on how you feel now with the 11 different biofrequency supports you're getting? You mentioned the products. We talk about the Rise drink, right? The charged drink. This is something that is a completely new concept. So, would you share just kind of like your experience and what you've learned about how this is making a difference compared to before? This is one tool, right? As therapists, we know that there's different tools that can support with different things. But if you would kind of just share what you've experienced, what you've kind of seen, and how this is benefiting the nervous system and the body in a different way than just like taking vitamins. Vitamins are great, but it's different than that. It's different than exercise. It's different than just hydrating. Grounding is great, but it's even different than that. It's even more powerful than that. Would you kind of share your experience?
Sure. You're so smart. As I'm listening to you, Miriam, I'm like learning, taking notes in my mind. So, I mean, you've taught me a lot about just the fact that it's at the molecular level. I wouldn't even have used those words before. Like, I didn't even pay attention in science in high school. I literally fell asleep. So, I have seen a holistic change, a whole body change, right? So, for me, when I started these products, it's been 17 months now. I felt an energy boost, like similar to caffeine, but it was different because it would last. It wasn't like a spike of energy. It was like overall, my whole body felt like I'm going to keep going. Like I don't need to go to bed, but I should because it's midnight kind of feeling. And so that was the beginning. And I had clear vision. I have terrible eyesight. I have contacts. I'm basically blind without contacts, but my vision opened up. Like it was just little things that I thought something's different when I started these products. And then over time, I just felt like I literally was a charged person. Like I could keep going. And mentally, even the times that my brain would start to feel discouraged, like I'd have thoughts that were a little more negative or discouraged, they would be replaced with positive and like motivated and no, keep going, that little voice. And so it was incremental for me. And then to see the shift in my mental health, like I can't explain it like you can scientifically, but I can tell you I feel like a different person. And
Wow. That's
I've been on med and I used to take supplements for years, but
mhm.
this is not just any supplement, right? The organic products are powerful, but it has to be the frequency component because that's the difference.
Yeah.
I've eaten organically as much as I could for 20 years.
Yeah.
So what's the difference, right? And studying frequencies from you and from several friends of ours and doctors and practitioners across the country, why have I always felt better at the ocean? Like I'm a beach person. I grew up in Jersey. So Jersey Shore, every summer. And I want to go back in a week, here in September, summer, and feet in the sand, feet in the ocean, sun on your skin. Why do I feel like the best version of me? Great music. It's
Yeah.
like there's all frequencies there. So
Yep.
I always said that's my happy place. It's my medicine. It literally was, and I didn't know it. And
Yeah.
so that that is what has been packaged, right? In this stuff, I have it next to me in
Yeah.
these from these products where it's packaged and you can consume it and there's no side effects and it
Make it
tastes good.
easy.
It's like easy to do. Pills I would always forget, supplements, medication included. I would just have them around the house and forget to take them. So
Yeah.
with the ease of delivery that these products offer, how easy it is to take it, and then the results that have taken it took months. Like some people want, an immediate fix and some people get that. But for me,
Yeah.
I think it's taken a year for me to really feel like the best version of myself. And now I'm 17 months in and I still see benefits. So like you've
Yeah.
said, it's realigning our internal organ system. So from the inside out,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
healing us, which is so powerful.
Yeah, I appreciate the way you share because even though the science part, if you're a science person, you could reach out. We can get you all the science details that you want. But for the like normal person, for most people, understanding how you feel, right, is helps them understand and just practically even just the difference between we've done all the exercise and we've taken all the vitamins and we've taken many of the things that are in even the supplement, the nutritional part of this charged nutrition. But it's different when you have it together with the 11 different biofrequency supports that are helping, like you said, with all the body systems and actually healing the nervous system. I think like we touched on the stress and no one is exempt from life stress in some capacity. Everyone has something. Well, some people it's family, some people it's past trauma or current trauma, recent trauma. Some people it's work or some people it's finances or any combination thereof. Some people it's just the severe lack of sleep as moms and things like that, right? Or caregivers. So, I think no one is exempt from some level of stress that and people will say stress is a silent killer. And the thing is, it's causing so much damage on a deeper level than we realize with our nervous system and our cells. And that's why this charged nutrition with this biofrequency support made such a big difference and has a different impact than what we've all the things that we've tried. Of course, eating healthy is great, like you said, organically. And I work with clients that are, non-dairy and gluten-free and all the things, and that's all great. And all the detoxes and everything, but it works in a completely different way than this. So I wanted to touch on that just because for if you struggle with mental health, especially, this is a tool that can be very powerful to support you. So make sure you reach out. And if you are someone that has those mental health challenges, make sure you connect and we can help you get the support that you need, whatever that looks like. Everyone is going to be a little bit different. So we want to make sure we share that, especially in light of today being Suicide Awareness Day, actually, which is huge. You matter and finding it's okay that you need some support. We all need that sometimes, everyone, no matter. And I want to speak to this too that, we see people online that everything looks great and people look great and they're smiling and everything. And that's great. But everyone has a silent battle that you don't know about. I haven't met a human that hasn't had some sort of struggle. That's just what I've seen. So know that you're not alone. You matter. And it's okay to need support. That's human. That's normal. It's actually normal. I think it's becoming more normalized, but I wanted to make sure that we say that. As we wrap up here, I know we just have a couple minutes. Would you just finish up by sharing what would you say are the top just couple of things that really have helped you in your journey and as a human with your own mental health, but even as a professional as well, and just maybe a scripture or something that stands out.
Sure. Okay, number one's my relationship with Jesus. I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And Jesus is real to me. I talk to him every day, all day, and about everything I'm thinking, and sometimes in my head and sometimes out loud. And so that has been a huge help for me. I think, prayer is a conversation with the living God who made me. And shocking to me still that he captured my heart because I'm so rebellious. I wouldn't ever follow someone like him, but he is gracious and sweet and has won me over. So I'm a loyal Italian, and I told him, "You'll be my master, and I'll serve you till the day I die." So that's a huge encouragement to me daily, even when I don't see his plan and I'm frustrated by what he allows, like, or if I don't agree with him, whatever it is, I still am loyal and faithful to him, and I feel grateful to have him. So that's a huge help. Number two, I have an amazing support system. So, community of people that I feel loved by, cared about, and known by. Like, I have two sets of amazing parents. I have four sisters. I have best friends and, colleagues. It's that community is huge because there's always somebody that's encouraging, along the way. And I thrive off of that. So I think those two are the biggest things. And I think the third now, Miriam, would be that I have this internal drive. I mean, I've always been a driven person, but I felt crippled, a lot because of what I was experiencing with the depression and how that, like I said, it's just an unwanted guest that you never knew when it was going to show up on the door and at your door and completely deplete me or fight against me, the voice of lies versus truth.
Yeah.
And that battle is exhausting. So it would take the energy out of me. And now that energy is preserved for things like my counseling practice, like what we're doing at Frequenz, and really to help whoever is in my path. And that's what I love. So I feel like I have my brain back in a way, and I can think my own thoughts. And when lies come in that are not from God, I can shut them down. Where I didn't have the power to do that before, it would just sort of take over.
Wow.
So I'm excited because of these resources that we have, and I'm excited to help people. That's what drives me in the morning. It's what wakes me up. To be able to say, okay, who can I help? Whoever it is, however, in whatever way, shape, or form. And you're right. I appreciate your comment about that you matter because I talked to a client today who used to struggle with self harm, and that was my closing remarks in our session was please let me know if you're struggling with hurting yourself because you're such a special person and you matter so much, and it's so important that you're here and I'm here to support you. And their face lit up, and you and I get to encourage people, so that's a huge deal. And even
Yeah.
if we struggle, like even if we limp through certain days, we're still able to help people, and there's still reasons to keep going. My tagline for my practice is there is always hope. And I truly believe that. I know you do too. So
Yes,
thank
absolutely.
you so much.
I love that. Well, thank you for your time today. Yes, and just as we wrap up, just remember that you do matter. Everyone has ups and downs, and that's normal and human. Please reach out and connect if you just need support, someone to talk to, or just any of these tools that we've mentioned today. And healing is absolutely possible. And like you said, hope. We want to give you that hope today that though there are always ups and downs and life is going to keep lifing, there's going to be things you can heal in such a way that, like she said, you can feel like a different person. It is absolutely possible with the right support and the right tools. You can. So, yes.
Thank you, my friend. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate inviting me to talk today. And
Yeah.
thanks for all your wisdom and your knowledge and for helping me grow and learn about science, which I have not known much about. So I appreciate you.
Yeah. No problem. All right. We'll talk soon.